In most places, weather changes every day and sometimes it changes fast. But there are some things about it that usually stay the same. Near the North and South poles, the temperature is always cold. At the equator, the temperature is always warm. Halfway in between, many people live with 4 seasons where summer is hot, spring is wet, fall is dry, and winter is cold. This is called climate. Climate is the long-term conditions of weather in a region. Scientists who study climate are called climatologists. 2 things tell us what kind of climate a place has: how warm it is and how wet it is. Deserts are dry places, glaciers stay cold and frozen, and rainforests are wet. It doesn't mean that every day the weather is like that. Climate means that most of the time the weather is like that. Wet climates are in parts of the world near oceans. Many islands have wet climates because they are surrounded by water. Cities on the seashore can have wet climates too, if the wind blows from the sea to the land. The wind carries water vapor and clouds from the ocean. The clouds move with the wind and drop rain or snow to make the land wet. Climatologists put climates into 4 groups: warm and wet, warm and dry, cold and wet, cold and dry. The sun controls climate because it sends heat to Earth. Sunlight warms up the ground and the air. When air gets warm, it rises and moves around as wind. You can see on a satellite movie how the clouds move with the wind. Because heat from the sun can move things around and make things work, it has energy. The sun gives the Earth energy. Energy from the sun makes warm climates near the equator. That's where the sun is high in the sky. Away from the equator, when you go toward the North or South Pole, the climate is colder. That's because the sun stays lower in the sky, and those parts of Earth don't get as much energy from it. The light from the sun hits the ground on more of a slant, so it is not as strong. Every once in a while, the sun might give us a little less energy, but then it returns to normal. This is called a sun cycle because it happens over and over. It might happen every 8 years or every 10 years. When the sun gives off less energy, it means all of the Earth might get a little bit cooler. The good thing for Earth is that the air and clouds help to keep our warm temperatures from cooling down too much. Without air, Earth would be too cold for people, animals, and plants to live. The air acts the way a blanket does on you while you sleep. It helps to keep the Earth at a steady temperature. This is something you can see if you visit a greenhouse. People who grow plants know that if you build a house and cover it with clear plastic or glass, it helps to trap the heat inside. So when the sun goes down, the greenhouse stays warm. Some climatologists are worried that if we keep adding pollution to the air, then the air would act more like a greenhouse and make the Earth warmer. This is called the greenhouse effect or global warming. The greenhouse effect and global warming tell us to be careful about how we treat the air, or else climates around the world might change. If global warming happens, many climates would be warmer and maybe drier. A city that now has lakes and trees might dry up and become a desert. Since warm air helps storms to grow, we might get more thunderstorms, tornadoes, and hurricanes. The oceans might rise a little, so people living along coastlines would have to move, or move their homes. Global warming wouldn't be bad for everyone. In cold climates, the winters might be shorter and not as much snow would fall. Some deserts might actually become wet enough for farmers to grow food and for people to live there. Right now, climatologists are not totally sure that global warming is happening, but they do think that it is starting. It is hard to be sure because we don't have very good weather information from hundreds of years ago. Also, the Earth is very old, and nobody lives long enough to know how climate changes all by itself. Most of our planet is covered by ocean water, and climatologists do not know how much heat the oceans can hold. Water in the oceans does a great job of storing heat. The problem is, we don't get enough weather reports and temperature readings from the oceans. Satellites give us some weather readings, and ocean buoys give us some others. The buoys carry thermometers to measure how warm the ocean is, and they also carry other weather instruments to give us wind and humidity. One of the tricky things about global warming is that a big volcano can erupt and change climate by sending ash and smoke into the air. Wind could carry it around the Earth to make a shield. This could block some sunlight and make the Earth colder for a little while. The one thing climatologists do know is that the Earth is a little warmer than it was 100 years ago. Many scientists believe that Earth is warmer because of the pollution we put into the air. Many of the things we use every day make pollution. Cars, trucks, buses, and factories all make pollution when they use fuel. Most of the fuels are oil, gas, or coal. These are called fossil fuels. Whenever we burn fossil fuels, they give off an invisible gas called carbon dioxide. A little carbon dioxide is not bad. It floats in the air, but we can't see or smell it. It has always been on Earth, and that's what plants use to grow. Too much carbon dioxide is a problem because it traps heat on Earth like a greenhouse. Scientists do know that people put more carbon dioxide pollution in the air, and that's why they think that we are warming the Earth by mistake. Many climatologists make a prediction that if we don't slow down putting carbon dioxide and pollution into the air, that global warming will happen. Nobody knows for sure that it will happen, but just to be safe, there are many things you can do to help slow down global warming. Don't waste electricity. Turn off lights when you are not using them. In many cities, electricity is made from power plants that use coal for fuel. If you use more electricity than you need, then the power plants burn more coal, and that pollutes the air. Recycle. Don't just throw things away. If we throw everything away, then we might run out of space at landfills, and then we'd have to use more energy and fuel to run factories to make more of the same thing. We can all recycle glass, cans, and paper. Instead of asking for a ride somewhere, you can walk or ride your bike. It's good for the air, and it's good exercise. Cars make carbon dioxide pollution. Climate is tricky. It's even harder for a climatologist to make predictions about how it will change. The Earth is so huge, and we don't have a lot of good information about how our climates used to be. One of the ways climatologists can learn about climates many years ago is to drill deep holes in glaciers. Because glaciers don't melt, if you go down deep enough, you can find little bubbles of air that were trapped in the ice hundreds of years ago. Scientists can study the air to see what it was like. When large old trees are cut down, climatologists can look at the tree rings to see how much and how fast the tree grew when it was young. This tells them if some years were warm and some were wet. Every year, we learn something new. Just like the sun has cycles, there are cycles in parts of the Earth's climate. One that we know more about now is called El Niño. El Niño is when the water in the middle of the Pacific Ocean gets much warmer than usual. Because the ocean is so big, a small change in the ocean temperature can make a big difference in weather around the world. When there is an El Niño, some countries get weather that is stormier. They might get a lot of rain every week that makes floods. Other countries get weather that is drier. The dry weather is bad for farmers and bad for ski resorts because they don't get a lot of snow. But dry weather is good for construction workers building a house or for people who want to play sports outside. Even in a single country, parts of it might be wetter while other parts would be warmer. Wet is not good if you want to go outside, but it is good for the trees to grow. Warmer is not good when there are fires, but warmer is good in the winter. La Nina is the opposite of El Nino. That's when the Pacific Ocean gets colder than usual. La Nina also changes weather around the world. El Nino and La Nina are part of climate. When they change the temperature of the Pacific Ocean, it's not always a bad thing for everyone. Whenever there's bad weather someplace, there's always good weather someplace else. Remember that weather changes fast almost every day, but climate changes very slowly. It can take hundreds of years for climate to change. Climate tells us how warm or cold a place usually is, and if it is wet or dry. Climate will change by itself, but scientists are still trying to figure out how much of it we might be changing by mistake. Without sunlight, air, and water, we would have a hard time living on Earth. Because wind moves heat and water in the air to help us and other living things survive, we call all of it an ecosystem. Everything in the Earth's ecosystem is connected in one way or another. To keep our climate healthy, we can all play a part. Try not to make pollution and stay weather smart. Let's take a quiz. Answer these questions, true or false. Number 1. Even without pollution, climate can change by itself. Number 2, El Nino is when the Pacific Ocean is very warm. Number 3, pollution can change climate. Number 4, scientists don't think that global warming is happening. Number 5, sunlight is important in determining climate. Number 6, recycling can help reduce pollution. Number 7, climate can change every day. Number 8, El Nino is a good thing for some places on Earth. Number 9, volcanoes can change climate with their smoke. Number 10, water is important in determining climate.